right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Bleav in Arizona Football podcast. It's been a minute. The world's gone topsy-turvy, upside down, literally, since we've been on here. But we're back, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Eddie Law. My co-host, as always, former Arizona Wildcats corner, number 5 in your programs. Ladies and gentlemen, he is Shaquille Richardson. How you doing, sir?
Yes, sir. What's good with y'all? What's good with y'all? Quarantine vibes. You know how we doing.
Quarantine vibes, man. Yo, I bet you not good. Now you put that energy out there, Drake's gonna make a song called Quarantine Vibes. That's what's gonna happen. I'm telling you.
It's gonna blow up.
Yeah. All right. On today's episode, you can already see him. We have a very special guest, one of the best players in Arizona football history, a U of A Hall of Famer, also number 5, Antoine Cason. Sir, how you doing today?
Yeah, doing well. How you doing?
Good. So,
the real number 5. You can have it.
Hey, now we got 2 number 5s on here, right?
Two number 5s in here. Yeah, Arizona 5.
All right.
5 is alive.
Yeah. So, Antoine, we'll just kick it off right with the quarantine stuff. Like, are you like indoors, like just not moving anywhere? Are you doing anything like essential and all that?
Yeah, I'm following the guidelines as much as possible. Staying in the house. I try and go for a walk. I have a 9-year-old son, so get him out, walk around, come back, eat. Been eating in the house, really following the guidelines as much as possible, getting quick workouts and just trying to play games in the house and stay sane.
Now it's rough out here. Shaq, what about you, man?
Yeah, I'm following the guidelines too as much as I can. Grocery runs, little essential things.
Mm-hmm.
It's been pretty cool. So I actually took all my family to my mom's place. She has like a much bigger place than I do. So I got my sister there, my girl, my kids, my mom and her boyfriend. So it's all good. We're just enjoying it, going outside. It's been very nice actually outside with the sun and everything. So, take a walk, but it's been cool trying to get this over with, trying to follow the rules. So it'll be over soon, hopefully.
Hopefully. And the one thing, like, how everyone talks about sports is an escape to like anything and everything in your own personal life. Mm-hmm. We don't have that right now.
No.
So it's like, it's trippy. Everyone, like, for example, like the NBA is doing 20, like, NBA 2K tournaments. I think I was watching like DeAndre Ayton playing, I forgot who he was playing. He was playing somebody else, but I was just like, dude, this is what we resorted to, man.
I watched that finals Laker game.
Versus,
yesterday, right?
I was watching like it was live.
It was live, right? We already know the outcome of the game, and we're watching it as if it's new.
I'm hyped.
There you go. See, now you guys, that's an introduction to you guys. In MMA, in the fight game, we rewatch fights, know who won. But because we only get an event like once, a week. Right now, none, but once a week usually. I rewatch fights like crazy. But yeah, like I was doing the same thing you guys were doing. I was clicking around. I was like, oh, the game's on. All right, cool.
Yeah.
And my girl sitting next to me, I'm telling her, oh, watch, this is where Kobe, spin move back, fade away.
She's Kobe.
Yeah. Shout out Kobe Bryant. Hall of Famer too. Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Absolutely.
Going into one of the biggest, if not possibly one of the best Hall of Fame classes ever with Kevin Garnett and Tim Duncan. Throwing some basketball out here.
Yeah, some strong company.
Real strong.
Telling you, man. All right. So Anton, we'll kick it off here talking about your college career. So, U of A football, 4 years, obviously, freshman through senior year, 15 interceptions, 3 touchdowns. Overall, what was your, like, how do you feel about your college career?
College career was fun, man. I had a great time. Let me start it off by saying that. And the experience that I was able to have leaving home, going to Arizona, it wasn't too far, but it wasn't too close. It gave me an opportunity to be out of the house, understand some responsibilities on a different level, be able to continue to go to school, meet people from everywhere, create friends from everywhere, be a better teammate, like all of that stuff that you don't have at home. Of course, right? Like the first time you go to college, there's no one telling you to go home and go to bed. So you learn very quickly how it's going to go. Okay, am I going to start policing myself? Mm-hmm. Or is this going to be a quick trip to school? So that's definitely not what I wanted to do. And college taught me that you have to discipline yourself a little differently. So I had a great time. The only thing that sucked about it was I never got to play in a bowl game. And I never had
not one bowl game?
Not one bowl game, and I never had a winning season there. So My freshman year, we were 3-8. My sophomore year, we were 3-8. My junior year, we were 6-6. And then my senior year, we were 5-7. So I never went to a bowl game, never had a winning season. So,
but y'all had a lot of ballers on that team.
We had a lot, and our defense was really good. We had a lot of good players. It was just tough putting it together. We went through some offensive coaches. There was just some things that just didn't line up for us. But like it was a heck of a time, man. Like I won't trade that for anything.
Yeah, man. I remember in those days, the talk was, man, Willie Tuitama and Mike Thomas gonna blow it up this year, you know, and like it was the same thing, kind of like almost like the story of Arizona football. You start off with some hope, and then end of the season, you're like, what happened? It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and I think about this too a lot when I talk about Arizona football with some guys that I played with early on. My freshman year was Stoops' first year, and when you think about how different my career and our 4 years would have been there if some things were just a little different, right? Almost, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people can say this, but my freshman year, we won. We beat NAU. We were 1-0. We lost to a Utah team. They had Alex Smith, Eric Weddle, and some good receivers, right? So that was a legitimate loss. We were 1-1. We played Wisconsin. We had Wisconsin, came in, it was like a monsoon. It was crazy. The rain delay, 45 minutes. They were ranked in the country, I think, at the time. They were in the top 15, I believe. Very, very, very tough game. We lost 10-9, and we missed a field goal at the end of the game. It was like a 40-yarder. Like in good conditions, you would make that kick, right?
Yeah.
But it was muddy, soggy. So, I mean, that's hard for a kicker. So we missed the kick. We lose the game. You think of that. We're 2-1 with some confidence, right? Then we play UCLA. We drop in LA. We drop maybe 3 touchdown passes, man, on different drives. You're arguably 3-1. That's a difference of confidence. That's a difference of the players, coaches, how you call the game, like how you go into a week. Then we went into a bye week. We come out of the bye week. We're at home. We play Washington State on ABC. It's crazy. I remember all this stuff. We played Washington State on ABC.
I'm listening to you.
And we're in the game. We're winning the game. This is when Arizona was letting us play day games, which was the best thing ever. That's a different story. We were playing day games, and everyone who came in there, it was hot, and they could not take it. And we were like, shoot, we practiced for this. Like, this is
120 on the turf.
Yeah, no, everyone was dying, and all the other teams were dying. They have pickled juice. They have all this special stuff, right? And they're still dying. And ABC have the game won. All we need to do is kill the clock. So we have a guy hands the ball off. Guess what? It was surreal. The ball, he goes in the middle of the pile. The ball shoots straight up in the air. And then it was just like slow motion, right? A kid from Washington State just catches it and just there, right? Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. They go down, score, tie the game up. We go into overtime. We lose in overtime. You're 4-1 now. You know what I mean? But those are the games we lost that changed the first year of when I was there, which I think would have changed. That changes recruiting. That changes who wants to go there. Stoops came from Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. They had a good reputation, of course, of winning. Mm-hmm. You have Stoops from Miami. Man, that set the stage. That was kind of something we talk about too that just really hurt us. But that's just the way it goes sometimes.
Yeah. I hear you. What's up?
We've been going through too much of that.
Yeah. It's time for it to end, right?
Man, we just waiting for the first to turn the corner. Finally, the program just turned the corner. Kevin Sullivan comes in. You're like, all right, let's go. But before we go into that, like, what's your if you had to look back at your whole career, what's your favorite memory at U of A?
My favorite memory. Of course, the one that just sticks out is the Oregon game, right? we're number 2 in the country. It was senior night. We've had a rough 4 years. And, the seniors, the students, the student section, I mean, was insane. I don't know if I should be saying this, but I'm gonna say it anyway, right? It was the first. It was the one of the first times I was sitting on the bench. They were so rowdy. The first time I was sitting on the bench, I looked over. I think it was Spencer Larson. I looked over. I was like, "Hey, man, is it just me, or do you smell the alcohol coming from behind us?" You could smell it. Like, it was like, oh, they're geeked up for this game.
Hey, my bad. I was in there. I was acting a fool and everything, dude.
And I was like, man, we got it. That's the moment I was like, we got to win this game. Them behind us, Thursday night football, we got to win, So if that was probably the memory that sticks out the most. But the whole 4 years, man, it was incredible. I mean, it was a good time,
Yeah, and what, first round, 27th overall?
27th, yeah, 27th.
To the Chargers. How'd you feel about this being like a pro? Like, what was that transition like?
Yeah, it was interesting, right? At some point you just know, right? So my junior year, of course, I could have left and I stayed. So at that point, in my mind, I knew I had the confidence I could play on the next level. That was what it is now, right? It just turns like, okay,
for sure.
I got it. Just don't get hurt, but don't worry about not getting hurt. So senior year, going out there playing, and then seeing the projections of like, damn, I can go first round, right? Like, I'm one of the best guys out here. And it was so crazy because the year before, I was the highest rated corner on the NCAA football game.
Hey.
So you just have an idea, right? And you're just like, okay, here we go. Then projections start coming out that it was like, oh, I'm a 2nd to 4th round guy. And it was just like, ignore all of that stuff.
Right.
So I just kept my head down, worked. And I said, all of these guys that are in college now, that you're playing against, everyone has to transition. You'll be able to transition from college to the pros because it's not like you're getting that much faster, right? You've got some strength. It's just more maturity now. And the precision of the game is where the speed kicks in, right? It's not like, Shaq, you're that much faster in college in the pros now.
Right.
It's just that you're understanding the game, and then that helps you play faster. And then now the precision of the quarterbacks putting it on the dime, the receivers running more precision routes. They're not on scholarship now. They're out here to eat, I just took it as that. And I just said, well, let me just have fun out here and cover people like I normally do and not put too much pressure on having this first round stigma or needing to be perfect. Just make plays.
Mm-hmm.
No, I hear you, man. So going into the Chargers, I know you special teamed it at first. It was weird for me because I was watching. I was like, oh, man, he's going to start right away and all this stuff. And then they put you in special teams. I was literally like, okay, what the hell's going on? But you earned your way in there, though.
Yeah, for sure. And now I look back at it, too, and it was one of those picks where you had Jammer on one side and you had Cromartie on the other side. Right, you're just not going to come in right away and start,
Right.
And so I understood that. And then understanding that the GM picked me because we had Ben Roethlisberger, Peyton Manning, and Tom Brady all in the AFC. So if you want to get through the AFC, you've got to go through those guys and you're going to need some DBs. So I really wasn't tripping on not starting right away because I was like, well, all these teams go 4 and 5 wide, 4 wides. I'm going to be in the game. So special teams is just like, whatever. That's some rookie stuff. Just make plays, make tackles. And when you get in the game, you're really here to play defense, But whatever they're asking you to do. So it was a little weird running down on kickoff and punt, block, and all of that stuff. But that was only a year or two, and then that was it.
Did you play teams at AZ?
No. All I did at Arizona, well, I was on kickoff. The safety. That's
warming
kind
your
of
legs
standard.
up. Warming your legs
Yep.
up.
And then I was on punt return. I return kicks, and then I was a corner, and that was it.
Okay.
Yeah, you went the Chargers till 2012, then the Cardinals, Panthers, and Ravens. And I think one of the coolest stories, and I know it's not huge because you were with the Ravens just for one season, right?
Yeah.
I Bleav I never read about it because I actually looked for a story on it. But you took you wore number 23 because
23.
Edwin
I wore
had number
23.
20, right?
Yeah,
Is
there
that
was
right?
no way I was. Yeah, there was no way I was going to do that, or even ask for that.
No, I'm like, I don't think so, dude. I ain't having it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I was. That's one of the greatest safeties to ever play. Especially almost all his whole career in one place, won a Super Bowl. There was no way free agent guy coming in and say, "Oh, let me wear that." No. See, Shaq, that's what we have to do at Arizona with this 5. You can't just keep giving that out.
You see, I put the call in. Then they gave it to Trey Griffin, and it went wherever it went from there.
Yeah,
and then with the new coaching staff,
they can't keep giving it out.
Right, I got it when it was Stoops. So like after Stoops, I think they might have the coaching staff after that might have not as valued it as much.
Right, because Wendell Neal, shout out to Wendell Neal. He's in baseball now.
Okay.
But yeah, he was holding down the 5. He wasn't giving it out too freely.
now I don't know who got it now. Who got it? Who has it now?
Yeah, too many people. I'm tired of looking at it.
Right, I'm tired of looking at it. I swear, I'm tired of looking at it. I'm like, who is this? Like, who is this in the fire? Like, he didn't call Twine. He didn't call me. He don't gotta call me. He gotta call you for real. But he gotta call
right.
Man, watch out! Someone's gonna call you guys. Like, hey, you guys gonna come hold tryouts for number 5? Who's gonna have it? Jeez.
Nobody.
Right?
Nobody.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Go
ahead, hang it up for Cason in the back. Go ahead, hang it up, man.
There you go. I'm saying right. Anyway, but all right. So, favorite memory in the pros.
Favorite memory in the pros. Oh man, it was okay. The first one that comes to mind is my rookie year. We went. Was it my rookie year? Yeah, I Bleav it was. We went 8-8. Right? We went 8-8 and made it to the playoffs. Yeah, 8-8. So we were having a bad year. I think that year is when Josh McDaniels went to Denver. Josh McDaniels went to Denver, and they started off at like 6-0, hot. And we came back a little bit for as much as you can come back going 8-8. But we were on the incline, and Denver started to decline. They started off 6-0. You have 16 games, Yeah. You have 10 more games. Nobody would have ever thought they would finish 8-8 or anything under 8 games, right? So we start coming back. That's when we beat Tampa Bay. John Gruden. I think that was the fall that got him, fired in Tampa too. We needed to win the last game against Denver in San Diego. We beat them 8-8. We're in the playoffs, right? We're in the playoffs, and we have a home game because if you're a division winner, you get the home game. However, there was the AFC South, which is, of course, Indianapolis, Houston, Jacksonville, and Tennessee. So Tennessee won that division at, I Bleav it was 11-3. That was Kerry Collins. And the Colts were 12-4. They had to come to San Diego an away game,
12-4?
right? So of course, 12-4 had to travel. So everybody's pissed off. ESPN, they shouldn't have a home game. They should change the rule. Division winner. We were 8-8, giving us no shot to win. We Colts and Manning come in. I mean, that was probably one of the toughest games I played. And in overtime, we won the game. Mike Cyphers, our punter, he knocked like 4 punts inside 15-10 or something like that. And
Clutch.
he was forcing them to just go long fields, and they couldn't do it. We were stopped. We were getting stops. Took it to overtime, won the game. That was the craziest memory.
Peyton
beating Peyton, and winning the division the whole year. Winning the division, the GM is publicly blasting us as players. Our bye week, everybody's job was up for competition. It was just a crazy year, and then to beat them that was crazy.
All right, to answer you guys' question, number 5 worn now, sophomore safety Christian Young.
Christian Young. Hey, you got to start balling, Christian.
Right. Tap in. Hey, tell Christian Young to tap in.
There you go. All right. So let's talk about this last season, man. It was good, bad, and super ugly out of the season, man. Like, we started off 4-1. That Hawaii game, back and forth shootout. You kind of understood that, right? First game of the season and all that. You're like, all right, it sucks, but what are you going to do? But then we dropped 65 in the next game on, I think, NAU. And NAU, which I know we always beat NAU. But dropping 65, we end up going 4-1 going into the Washington game, and then we dropped 7 in a row. Like, what do you think watching this entire season, unfold? What do you think about that?
Of course, I don't know what's going on, so I don't want to assume that I know. So this is just my opinion of it. But when you start off that way and then drop 7 in a row, there's something going on between the coaches and the players. And that's just, once you start losing players in your locker room who don't really care to bring it together or circle the wagons, so to speak, there's something seriously going on, and that's got to get fixed. So I don't know how you can do that or what happened, but I didn't like the going back and forth between quarterbacks. And
I think, what do you think about? You think a QB competition would have affected that kind of change?
Absolutely, because then now you have you've been in locker rooms too where we're like, dude, just who we going with? Like, what are we gonna do? Okay, like even at corner, if Shaq and I were on the same team, like, yeah, we're here to compete, but are you just gonna rotate Shaq and I at right corner all game? Can I get into a flow? Can I figure out, can I play my game within the game?
Right.
Like, what are we doing here? And if this is your guy, are we tailoring our offense to it? Or are we doing what we need to do to make our proper adjustments? And I didn't see that being done.
Yeah, and then going into the offseason, there's always a coaching change. And we fired excuse me, they fired the DC, right? And we picked up Chuck Cecil, who you thought was going to be like, let's see what he's got. Well, he's not coming back to be the DC anymore. Now we have Noel Mazzone. And if that's a strange name to most people listening or watching, it's because I don't think he's ever been a head coach anywhere. I think he's mostly he's been receivers coach, offensive coordinator, QB coach. For us, starting this season, he's offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach.
Offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach?
Yeah. So, as far as that goes, what is a new – and I know you were on the defensive side of the ball, but even speaking as a defensive player, changing a coordinator, let's say you're a sophomore or whatever, you're used to a certain system, changing a coordinator, like, what kind of challenges does that bring?
Changing coordinators for anyone is just always a constant adjustment, right? Because we can all three be on the same staff, right? And you're the offensive coordinator, Shaq is the receivers coach, I'm the running backs coach. We all have a different philosophy, even though we're on your team, right? You're calling the plays and you have some things that you like to do. But if you're gone and then Shaq now is the coordinator, he's going to have nuances that he likes that the offense and the quarterback is going to have to adjust to. So continuously changing coordinators is tough because they're going to want you to do something maybe a little different here and there that you're just not comfortable with. That's why you see a lot of quarterbacks do very well. Perfect example. You have the Patriots, Tom Brady. You think of that staff. They've been together for 13, 14, 15 years. You know what to expect. You know how to go out there and do what it is you need to do within the offense. So for any side of the ball, it's just tough to continue to change philosophies each year, you know.
Does Sumlin still call the plays?
As far as we know, I think so. I'm not even sure. I actually researched that before and I couldn't find anything on it. I just know that the OC does. On the defensive side of the ball, we actually have a brand new guy, Paul Rhodes. He's come through UCLA, Arkansas, Iowa State. He spent a lot of time in Iowa State, if I remember right. But again, another change in DC. So Chuck Cecil ain't coming back. We got Paul Rhodes now. So that's, all the challenges you were talking about. That's going to be for all the defensive players now.
The defense struggled last year, for sure.
Big time, man. And we talked about that a lot, Shaq. Like every game, it was just like the defense was. I mean, again, they came out. We were leading they were leading the NCAA in interceptions for a solid like 3 weeks, and then just no more picks.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I just know we couldn't get any pressure, couldn't stop the run, and too many big plays. It's a combination of all those things will turn out to be bad defense.
Yeah, and at some point, during the season, teams are going to start seeing what you're doing well and stop that. Mm-hmm. So adjustments, it's a game of adjustments, make adjustments. And as long as I always appreciate coaches too. I mean, if you just keep everyone's confidence up in what we're doing, we'll figure out how to make some plays within, the scheme, right? And the adjustments, and keep the boys' confidence. Right. Just let them keep playing.
I think we started sitting different players, starting different DBs, moving guys around. Like after we fell off with the interception, I just seen like a bunch of new corners in there, a bunch of different players, and the guys that I thought were doing good at first, had got taken out for some reason. I had the picks, but then you put the other guys in. I think it was some injury. I don't know the details about everything that went on, but we started making a lot of adjustments as far as play time, and I know that also affects the confidence of the players, especially DBs, getting in and out because of performance, whatever the case may be. I like to stay in there and like feel it out, and get more comfortable as the game go on. And then by that time, I always felt like I got better towards the end of the season, or I always grew better and better as the season go on. So like beginning of the game, I'll be at one level, and by the end of the season, I'm all pro.
Right.
Right. And I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's hard. No, yeah, I'm sure it's like a little tougher to play, knowing someone's like they're having to watch your back a little bit, right? With getting moved around and whatnot.
Well, yeah, it just is all in how you look at it too. Mm-hmm. You're gonna go out there and make some mistakes, and one of the things is, hey, just go play. You have to have some level of effort in you, as a baller, to just say, it is what it is.
Right.
There's always going to be somebody they're trying to replace me with.
Right. I'm making plays on the field and I mess up. I'll be like, man, I don't care. Next play. Like, so
right.
What's next?
There you go. So
that's how I deal with it.
Yeah. No, before the show, we were talking, Shaq and I were talking about the recruiting class. Now, we're last in the Pac-12. Like, I don't even have to go look at the ranking nationally. It doesn't even really matter. Like, in the Pac-12, we're last. And looking at the list here, and I can pop it up here for our viewers. And if you're on audio, we apologize. We'll call them out as much as we can. But we have a lot of 3-star guys, a lot of Arizona guys, a lot of he's picking them out from everywhere, but a lot of Arizona guys on here. As far as recruiting goes, Antoine, what do you think? Like, why do you think it's so hard to get like high level recruits to play for Sumlin?
Well, first, what star were you, Antoine?
Yeah, I was a 3-star.
Okay, me too.
There you go.
Yeah, I was a 3-star. It's tough to get recruits too when you're not in the national spotlight every year. You see where recruits go. I mean, they go to where teams are winning, and there's a lot of parity now with players going to just not big school or the smaller schools too, and putting them on the map. It may be a recruiting philosophy that differs, that needs to change, and how you can get a a 5-star, 4-star, whatever. Maybe this is who they wanted. I don't know. But to get some splash players, there's some things that you have to let them know differently. And I don't know what the recruiting philosophy is, but it's always interesting to me because Arizona is a great place to go to school. It's warm almost all year round. It's a beautiful campus. The scenery and everything around
pool parties.
It's a great time. So it's one of those things where it's like hard. Where how can't Arizona recruit? And they play top teams. You have Oregon, you have SC, Cal. Well, when I was there, Cal, but now you have Utah, and you have teams that are throwing the ball that get ranked. I don't know.
I don't know either, man.
Yeah, I mean,
but we got to get back. We got to get back.
Look, you gotta be the DC. Let me coach the DBs, and we go get some kids up in there that's ready to ball.
Yeah, and I would love to coach defense at Arizona. Have a top 10 defense every year. DBs, put them out.
What's stopping you from pursuing that?
I don't know.
Honestly,
I don't know. That's a great question. Well, the biggest reason is I was coaching my son. He's 9, and he's playing sports. And I looked at the college game too, and I didn't want to be a guy that just moved around. I didn't want to be here for 2 years. Now we have to go to Wyoming for a year, then get another job back in Florida. Like I didn't want to moving around like that. So Arizona, if you want a D coordinator that I got to be there through any coach. We'll recruit. We'll get some DBs. We'll get some and Southern California guys, Southern California and Texas. We can relate to that.
For sure.
That's usually, that's Arizona. When Arizona's on top, those are where the
AZ and Cali
players are coming.
I mean, Texas and Cali.
And then you sprinkle in some Arizona guys. But see, Arizona State now, they have pro coaches. They're doing well with recruiting. They're doing well with recruiting, and that's tough. So recruiting is huge. How you recruit the parent too, and not just the kid. You have to recruit the parents too.
When you get recruited to U of A, I know. I'm pretty sure Stoops was looking at you when he was in Oklahoma, or I think maybe he talked to you when he was in Oklahoma. Gets hired at U of A.
No. So that story goes, another story for you. So it was interesting. Like I was recruited by Makovic staff first.
Right.
So they weren't too hot either. And I told my counselor at school, I'm not going to Arizona. No, not at all. And she kept my head in the game. Her name is Tamara Lundblad. I don't know if that was your counselor, Shaq, over at Los Al.
No, I don't think so.
She kept me, hey, you know what? Don't X them out. Don't do that. Just, stay with it. So Makovic gets fired. But before that, Mike Stoops and Bob Stoops came to Southern California, my high school, Los Al, where Shaq and I went. We had a kid named Randy Estes. I mean, one of the best high school football players that I've ever seen, he was a safety, played running back, kick return. I mean, wherever you put him, he played. He and Adrian Peterson that year, they just kept going back and forth. Number 1, 2 player in the nation. However, those rankings worked back then. It's totally different than now. But Bob and Mike came to practice in the spring to watch Randy. And, Randy had a 5th period class. So he came out to football late, which was fine. It was spring. So we're out there, we're doing one-on-ones. Shaq knows the drill, how we would do it. Coaches would be out there talking to the players. Or coaches would be talking to the colleges. And Mike and Bob are saying, oh, Randy looks good today. Because we both wore headbands, so we looked similar in how we dressed. And long story short, the coach said, hey, look, that's not Randy Estes. There's Randy Estes right there. He was walking out to practice. And the Stoops said, well, who's that? And it was me. And before then, they didn't recruit me, I guess, because Stoops still won't tell me why. I asked him.
That's crazy.
Before I get to the finish of that, I asked Coach Stoops, hey, why didn't you recruit me at Oklahoma? And, Stoops, he's just like, there was just something about you. There was just something about you we didn't like. Like, wait, what didn't you like? I need to know. I want to know.
Right.
So ever since then, that's when I was put on the map with Stoops. So when he got the job, allegedly, I was his first call, his first recruiting call, and said, I want you here. And that was at Arizona.
Okay.
There you go. That worked out pretty good. So
It worked out pretty good. Yeah, it worked out pretty good. And what took my decision over the top was Mark Stoops was at Miami at the time, and he had coached Ed Reed, Sean Taylor, Mike Rumph, Antrell Roll, Philip Buchanan. And he had all of those DBs. Why not? Mike Stoops had Thorpe Winter and Derek Strait. He coached Terrence Newman. He was Thorpe Winter. He coached Roy Williams. They just had DBs that you could just line them up.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's where I'm going.
I wish we would have kept Stoops my years, man. I feel like we took a drop, and I for sure took a drop when we changed coaching staffs. Man, I was going up. You already know. Those first 2 years I was at AZ with Stoops was my favorite years in college.
They're really good DB coaches. Like, they're the best, couple of the best DB coaches I've ever had. Mark Stoops was one of the best. They gave you like autonomy over your game.
I think that's one of the most important things for DBs, because when you get out there and you try to play like robotic and try to do exactly what a coach says, sometimes it's hard to be comfortable enough to make plays or execute how you like to.
Yeah, he lets you be free, and I think sometimes coaches get away from that because they get enamored with the X's and O's, and you're supposed to be here and there, and instincts is a big part of the game, and how you play. I play different than Shaq. Shaq plays different than me. Shaq has different skills that are better than what I can. He could do something better than I would be able to do it. I'm not going to be able to make that speed turn like Shaq can.
Right.
So you're going to force me to do that.
But I could turn like this and get there just as fast.
And then get there just as fast. So it makes a difference to coach DBs, So, yeah.
Yeah, I hate when Coach Scott tell me, you put your feet this far apart and you take 1 inch step this way. I'm like, come on, man. It might be 2 inches. It might be a little couple more inches,
If I'm there, I'm there.
All right. He didn't catch it, did he?
Yeah.
Right. The results.
Yeah. Right. So the Stoops coaches would always say, hey, we're going to let you do it the way you do it. But if you start hanging up, then you have to start listening to me.
He gonna let you have it. Stoops gonna let you have it.
Yeah. So you were going to make sure you got to what you needed to do.
All right, well, Arizona, if y'all needed, DCs or DB coaches, and y'all can offer, some assurances here when you're trying to move around every year, hit my boys up.
Give my man a 5-year contract, non-tradable.
Non-tradable.
No trade clause. That's LeBron. We need that LeBron. Clutch sports.
All right. Well, hey, talking about LeBron and other sports, this whole, we're in the middle of this pandemic at the moment. No sports and all that. I mean, it's this has never happened before, where NBA's suspended for who even knows how long. March Madness is canceled, not even postponed, canceled. All these kids didn't get the chance to play. NFL's sort of in question right now. They're trying to play like they're going to start on time, but they don't really know. Nobody really knows. College football don't even know. So in this new world of just a bunch of uncertainty in so many levels, like as an athlete, Antoine, what do you think? Like, if you're still playing and college or pro, what do you think the mindset is right now?
What my mindset would be is to be in the house, and this will give me so much time to study offensive coordinators, study players, get all the film you can get, and I would just continue to watch it and know it and understand it, and that. Once I get out of this, because would be in the mindset that I'll still get a workout in every day. So I'll still be in I'll be in good shape. But now I'm learning the game better. So let's get this film study in. Let's self scout. What didn't I do that well last year? What did I do well last year? Because I'm pretty sure the coaches are doing the same thing. So why wouldn't I? That would be my mindset with this time, just because it's what I can't control not being able to play, but I can control watching this film.
Gotcha. I mean,
That's professional advice right there.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, as far as college kids go, though, like, like I know a couple kids from my kids' high school that are recruited to different colleges. They just got told, like, hey, stop the presses, hang on a second. Like, for example, U of A had spring stuff going down, and they cancel all that. Every college did, right? So as a college player, like, it, obviously they don't have the professional mindset yet to study and all that. Like, what goes through your mind? What do you think a kid will be going through right now with that kind of situation?
I'm pretty sure they're just hanging out, but I would say the same thing that I just said to them. This is a time to start getting a pro mentality, because the earlier you start, the better you'll be. I mean, why not? You feel like you don't have that much time between class, study hall, workouts, getting here and there, weights, rehab. Now you have time to do that. So I think this is when we'll see the good coaches step up too and start saying, hey, Shaq, this film, here's SC, all, 11 games last year. Here's all 11 Oregon games. Here's the receiver that's the best. Study all of that. You should come out of this actually being a better player. I would assume, I would, because now you're understanding the game. You're not just getting out there relying on your athletic ability. Right. Now you're playing the game in your mind too.
That's what.
So I would say the same thing to the college kids.
Yeah, that's what took my game to the next level. Film study, man. That's one thing that my first 2 years I was just all out there trying to make a play, doing my best athletic ability I can. But when it came to those last 2 years, I really started watching more film and being in position before before my body was there, my mind was already there. So it made me react even faster and stuff like that. If I was a DB coach, I'd be having like virtual meetings with these kids. Everybody on FaceTime with the screen, asking questions, watching certain things, at least like 30 minutes or something. That would help from a coach's perspective. For the younger kids who don't really know how to, watch film or, don't have the focus of doing it, or rather go party, dorms, whatever. I would try to get some kind of structure for watching film and teaching them how to watch it.
I wonder how that quarantine is. How is it? Do college kids have to go home, or can they stay in the dorms, or how is that?
So as far as I know, because I got one at ASU, they're staying at the dorms. They just they're quarantined in there. But I was just kind of like, dude,
they're quarantining. Okay, they're quarantining. All right.
They gotta change the door from the outside. They gotta change the door from the outside. These kids are crazy.
I don't know what we would do in the dorms right now if we couldn't leave. I mean,
going crazy.
Ooh, the dorms is a beautiful place.
Right. So there's no classes, right? There's no classes.
No, it's all online, dude.
Online.
Oh, they probably
online.
They partying it up.
No, so I told him, I was like, hey man, just come home. You're cool. You stay here safe. And he goes, I'm good. He goes, I'm good.
My kids gotta come home.
Yeah. I'm saying I would try. His mom calling him, and he's just like,
nah, I'm straight.
I'm good. I'm good.
Quarantine's not that bad, actually.
Yeah, no, it's not that bad.
That's what he's telling you.
No, these kids, man, these kids are getting up. They might be doing online classes, sort of, and then they hit that Fortnite and come 6, 7 o'clock at night. Like, hey, who's coming over?
Right.
Come on now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's end on a more of a fun note here. Obviously, we're quarantined. Everyone's got to stay home. I probably should have sent to you guys earlier to come up with something, but favorite football movie of all time that you would you could sit down and just watch immediately. I'll start out with mine, dude. Mine all-time favorite football movie, and there's a bunch, is Any Given Sunday with Jamie Foxx and Al Pacino. I don't know why. I watched that when I was when I was much younger, and I was like, I don't know that's what the NFL is like, but this movie is dope. I was that was it's probably my favorite football movie of all time. But Shaq, what's yours?
Mine, I would have to say off the top of my head, Remember the Titans. Coach Boone coming through, setting the law, then having the team go through like a chemistry building, process to attack a season
that's
like
huge.
that.
That was huge.
Right. How they deal with those problems and everything. Like that's one of the movies I appreciate about how football, brings everybody together and you have a common, goal. And they was playing some good football too. I like that movie. Denzel, one of my favorite actors, so he did a great job.
Yeah. It's hard to pick one. I have two, and it's probably because I was so young when I first started watching, like when I saw them, so they just sticks. But The Program and Rudy.
Okay. Showing your age over there, my G.
I'm gonna ask you guys. Have you guys? I'm sure you guys have watched Last Chance U, right? It's like 3 or 4 seasons.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've actually just quarantine thing. I'm rewatching all kinds of stuff and all that. It's interesting to watch like how that works with the JUCO and all that, right? Trying to you're there, you're trying to play, just trying to make it to D1. But like that behind the scenes stuff. I mean, you guys saw with Jason Brown, I think, from Independent.
See, I haven't watched it. I haven't watched a lot of it. Yeah. I've seen it, but I haven't. I'm not really too versed with what's going on.
Do you know Eddie? Do you know that guy Ali? I think it's he was with the Raiders. Ali Ronald.
The tight end.
Yeah.
He's a DN.
Roland.
Roland Ali.
Yeah, because they cut him, right?
Yeah, he's actually on my Toronto team now. We just signed him up this offseason. So
I saw it on the Instagram. And I was like, okay, hey.
Yeah.
That's a trip.
That'd be cool.
No, man, it's cool to see like an outlet for college kids to get, I mean, I know there's a combine, there's obviously game tape and all that, but coaches like to get to know their players. So it's kind of to me, it's a double-edged sword, right? Like you kind of get a pro feel with cameras following you around. So, some players will be like, oh, I'm gotta be on my, P's and Q's. I gotta be good. And some other players, you just, they just can't get it together. They don't realize, but it's a maturity thing, I think. But yeah, I mean, could you have handled that? You guys handled that at U of A, like in college, getting followed around by all the time?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think
I don't know. We were having a good time. I'm glad the cameras weren't around when we were there. Oh man, I had a coach in the pros tell us a story too. But I got to save that one for off air. But
gotcha.
It was a hilarious story from when he played. He was like, "You guys have all these cameras and phones. You can't have fun anymore."
He's not wrong, probably.
And I was like, "Man, I guess we aren't having fun."
Right. You gotta watch out for what everybody's gonna say about it.
Yeah. I don't know if we would have been able to have the cameras around. When I was in college and before college, they were doing what was that ESPN show? I think they started off with Arkansas. And they did do a season with Arizona, but it was John Malkovich. It was right before I got there.
Mm-hmm.
It was called The Season. No, it was on ESPN. Oh yeah, damn that. Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Before me.
ESPN was doing shows. They were just doing it. It was during training camp with colleges.
Oh, okay.
I think they started off with Arkansas. I believe it was Arkansas.
Stoops would let people let them have it.
Oh man, it's insane.
I love Stoops' energy, man. Energy crazy, and it's genuine energy.
It is.
Dude, I'm just, obviously speaking to someone that was sitting behind you in the student section drunk as hell. That dude used to get so angry. His face would go super red. Like he'd go from white. Yeah. And he just goes tomato. So like if you're watching from the side, like you didn't even have to see him scream at anybody. If you saw Mike run to a group and then come back and he's fully red, you're like, oh, okay, someone got cussed out. All right.
That dude was so passionate about football, man. That's what you got to love. Like
definitely.
It was all like for the betterment too of you. I mean, he would say some wild stuff,
but it's all genuine. Like you could tell he's coming from a solid place.
Yeah, he would say some wild stuff now, and a lot of people, a lot of the team, not a lot of the team, but there are of course some players that didn't like him because he was in your ass, like he wasn't gonna let you slide, but it was like genuine, like football. He was on you.
Yeah, I remember as a student reporter, I got into some of those press conferences. You're just sitting there waiting. It's like, hey, is he gonna blow up this time or not? And once in a while, he'd give you one though. Once in a while, he'd give you one.
Oh yeah,
that was like a small fraction of what the players got. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah,
very small.
Right.
Anyway, Antoine, you got anything going on? Anything big? Any projects coming up?
No, man, I'm just I'm a part of a few organizations. Like I'm on the board of an organization here in Long Beach called Why'd You Stop Me? So it's the goal is to bridge the gap between the police and the community. And there's a Long Beach police sergeant who started it, and he has a different way of training officers and bringing in the community so that everyone can communicate a lot better, so that a lot of the violence stops. I coach 7-on-7 teams. Yeah, it's huge. It's good. We brought in just one quick thing on that. We brought in, 4 of our 5 Long Beach high schools. They did the police academy from 8 to 5 all day, got to ask questions, say their feelings. Police, it was a good interaction. Mm-hmm. And you had a group of kids now that, were enlightened. And you have, some officers and police, the staff that were enlightened about, how these communities are thinking at this age. Yeah. And we all know it's still going to be bad cops. It's still going to be bad people. So things are still going to happen. But at least in my community, I'm trying to bridge the gap and start there. I coach 7-on-7 teams down in Orange County. I coach my son's baseball, football teams.
You're just getting ready for that league. Getting ready for that league. Come on, we need you.
Yeah, getting ready. I have to start somewhere. I have to refine my skills. If I can teach it to an 8-9-year-old, then I know I can teach it to you.
For real.
So getting it down at the lowest of levels, mm-hmm. then refining that, we got it.
Right. There you go. Shaq, what's going on, man?
Man, I'm just quarantined. Really, just really trying to see how this CFL season gonna go. Mm-hmm. They closed all public events till June 20th. I think that was our first home game. So, mm-hmm. I'm still trying to carve out my way, playing football, doing these podcasts with you, talking Arizona football. I would like to coach at Arizona one day too. So if they hire my mans, maybe I can get GA job, DB something.
How long?
Maybe I get a little something, but just still out here balling. Trying to do my thing.
All right, now.
Congratulations to that too.
Thank you. Just signed a new contract.
It's not easy to keep playing like that. That's love that.
Thank you. Just got a new 2-year contract, so it's looking good. They treat me well. I'm good.
All right, keep on going, man. All right, Antoine, any social media stuff you want to throw out there?
My name, Antoine Cason. I'm not too big on it, but I need to start. But yeah. I'm on Instagram mostly, Antoine Cason. I just joined TikTok. My son wants to start doing that, but
Hello.
You're not gonna catch me dancing and stuff like that, but and that's all I hear too. It's the same song, the same dance
over and over again.
It's like marketing now, but once you get a TikTok and you can even sponsor somebody to make your song viral, that'll run up the streams.
Yeah, so we'll see how that is, but
dude, my youngest, my 13-year-old, she comes up like, "Hey, you want to do TikTok with me?" I'm like, "Nah." She's like, "Yeah, use this and that and that." I'm like, "No, what is this?" Like, I know the Cupid Shuffle. I'll give you that all day. But I'm like, what is this?
It's that Drake just dropped a new one. Mm-hmm. You gotta learn that one.
Yeah, there you go.
See, we have to be content creators now in this time of quarantine and sit down and meditate and figure it out.
Yeah, for sure.
There you go. All right, Shaq, your social media, throw it out there, man.
DR4Rich on Twitter, DR4Unruly on IG. I know what it is.
All right, that's going to do it for us, ladies and gentlemen. Please remember to subscribe to this show on your favorite podcast outlet and now YouTube. And make sure you follow everybody on here and myself at ELAW32. It's ELAW32. Thank you for believing. We'll see you guys next time. Go Wildcats.
Yeah, bear down.
Bear down.
That's how we do it. Right there. Okay. Wildcats.
There you go.
Yeah.